Chairman of the Board, Ripper Blackhart.
And with that announcement, we are off and running. It is nobody's fool here at War Wrestling. Michael McCormick and Bryce, and we've got a big night of action. Some matches already announced through social media, through Facebook. And apparently the chairman of the board has come out to say a few things about a card that, as always, with pro wrestling is subject to change.
Indeed, and not just that, he's carrying the entire security squad with him.
All right, I told everybody last show, that I would take care of the situation that's been happening with the Wikked lately and causing chaos. So at this time, Jetsy Black, Beastman, come on out.
Historically, this will not end well. Beastman, of course, climbed the rails and jumped security after he beat up Crash Jackson. He took right back off to end our last event.
And he was banned from the building, so nobody knew that he was going to be there. I'm not even sure if Jexy herself knew he was around, but
whatever is about to happen is apparently a very well-kept secret because we're not privy to whatever this interaction is going to be. And when you bring in Beastman, there's that combustible element, but Jexy and Ripper haven't exactly been seeing eye to eye lately either.
Have they ever really?
I think for a couple of days. I think a Mario Kart game came out and they were both happy about it.
Well, something that's never a happy sight to see is the ferocious Beastman stepping out here, wearing the War Heavyweight Championship around his waist.
307 days since the War Rumble when he took it off of Brandon Day. Husk in full effect, but like I said, combustible elements and the scare down taking place between Ripper Blackhart and Jexy Black. Hey, I've never really been a fan of fearing for Ripper's safety, but this might be the first time.
Absolutely. No matter how much you might disagree with somebody, no matter who they are, being in the mere presence of Beastman is a safety hazard to everybody's well-being.
And there's always the question of how much he understands.
Hey, before we get started, I almost forgot. We got a special birthday. Red, where you? Happy birthday, 7th birthday, Red. We're glad you're here with us, buddy.
Happy birthday to one of our War fans.
By the way, this is actually a
Now on
throwback
the business.
to a charity show that we did in Coldwater a
Jesse,
number of years ago.
I
That
told
was
you.
the announcement that was just
You
made.
weren't going to like what was going to happen if you kept pushing me. Yeah. So, effective immediately, I am stripping Beastman of the War Heavyweight Championship.
Uh-oh.
Ripper, did you just say that with Beastman right in front of you?
I don't think he understood.
And tonight,
Clearly
when
not.
he faces Appollo, the winner of that match will go on to the anniversary show at the 31st of May to decide a new champion.
Ripper, you might want to get out
That
of
person will face the winner of Crash Jackson and whatever opponent I pick for him next month. And if Beastman, listen to this closely, if Beastman and Crash touch each other at any point between now and then, they're both thrown out of the match and neither one of them will get a shot.
Wow. Laying down the law.
You better let him know.
And Beastman still all the while
Turn it over.
absolutely
Turn it over.
not understanding a word that was just said.
You can turn it over or you can pack up your stuff out of the locker room and walk out the door. I don't care. He's not the champ no more. He's not the champ no more.
Again, I'm not sure he understands and ultimately probably will not care or handle this well.
The real question is going to be is when Jexy takes that belt off his shoulder, how's he going to respond?
Again, if I'm Ripper, I'm leaving right now. You've made your point.
I would have put this as an email.
This is definitely a meeting that should have been an email.
Give it now.
Well, nothing can ever be stated that Ripper Blackheart has always been one for facing up to a challenge.
He's been laid out many times in the ring to prove that one. He's still just
Explain it to
putting
him.
his hand in the tiger cage at this point. I think Beastman is now finally absorbing that he's no longer the World Wrestling Champion.
No husk. No husk.
No husk.
Beastman is now he's sinking in. He's still marking his territory, but he's holding on to it like Gollum in the ring.
You know, guys have always said, what does championship gold taste like? Beastman knows.
Beastman has successfully, relinquished the title.
And if you thought he was angry before, imagine being Apollo Starr tonight.
Oh God.
Beastman is leaping over the rails.
He about went careening straight into 5 different audience members.
10 different staff members carrying Beastman out.
And here comes Matthew Taylor now, just looking on with a look of amusement on his face.
You think there's anybody in the building right now that is happier than Matthew Taylor?
Absolutely not. I don't think I've seen the last time Beastman has been manhandled like that, if it's ever happened.
The other part of it is it took 10 guys.
Well, we'll get back to the premise of the World Heavyweight
There's
Championship
a lot
later.
of that yet to come.
Yeah, right now though, we're getting into our first match of the evening.
Speaking of monsters, wait till you hear what Matthew Taylor
Well, that
has to
was
say.
exciting, huh? Well, I'm not going to beat around the bush because I know you all came here to watch some wrestling. And I'm not waiting any longer, so Jimmy Shane, my best friend, get your ass out here.
Jimmy Shade is a monster of his own kind because he comes with a team of monsters. He does not come alone.
No, he does not.
Some would say he brings a crew with him.
Cut the music!
Oh.
Now!
Wait a second.
There's not gonna be any Jimmy Shane! Oh, this is excitement! This is a celebration! You wanna come out here as I'm getting stripped of my title and act like this is a celebration, Matt Taylor?
Well, it used to be.
I don't know what, in any way, shape, or form, you're worried about Jimmy Shane when you have a problem of me right in front of you. I'm not done with you, Matt. I haven't been done with you. Don't tell me what to do.
Goes to show Matt's just ready to fight.
Oh, you want to talk now? Huh? 7 years later, you want to talk, huh? I love you, I hate you, I can't live without you, Matt Taylor, right? All roads for Jesse Black always lead to Matt Taylor. You have been a problem for me for 7 years, Matt, and now you want to come out and celebrate in the worst moment of my life!
Someone's inner feels tonight.
The only thing you need to be worried about right now is Xodiak
Wow, wait a second.
and me, because we are not
It's
finished.
just her here.
Let me remind you that you took my tag
That's
team
never a
titles
good
away from
sign.
me. Let me remind you that you tried to take my heavyweight title away from me more than once. And you're out here celebrating. You're celebrating. Xodiak!
The 270-pound monster.
See how funny it is now, Matt? Huh? Celebrate, jump up and down now!
Apparently the hand-chosen, I don't even know where you want to go,
You
opponent.
think Jimmy's your
Oh
problem?
no.
I'm your problem!
Where he goes, he brings the fire with him, and Matt Taylor might need to be less worried about what's in front of him and less kind of looking at that, more worried about what's behind him.
Absolutely. Xodiak, the Prometheus of pro wrestling, you might say, when he comes out with the flame in his hand. Stalking around the ring. Oh boy.
Matt Taylor still hasn't seen him. Jexy and Matt are destined to do this dance forever. But the destruction that is Xodiak and Matt Taylor, he came in here a couple of years ago in 21, one of the last times we had Nobody's Fool, as the World Wrestling Champion. He beat Mojo McQueen by DQ, but think about how things have changed for him with his alliances with people that he's fought, but the one thing that's remained constant is Jexy Black's straight up hatred of all things Matt Taylor.
When you've had such a long storied career here at War like Matt Taylor has, you're naturally going to have some enemies along the way. And right now, that's coming back to haunt him in the form of Xodiak the Mystic, just trying to snap his arm.
I think he was trying to bite him too. He's got fire and he's hungry. It's not a good combination.
See, I know Matt Taylor was scheduled to have a match tonight. Clearly, he was hoping his opponent was going to be Jimmy Shane, but no. Jexy Black, I guess, had to have hopped aboard an open challenge train here somewhere along the way and got Xodiak in instead. Because right now, Matt Taylor is just stuck there in the corner already, just at the mercy of Xodiak the Mystic.
Well, when you represent the World Wrestling Champion, or the former World Wrestling Champion, it, I would think, gives you a little bit of stroke. She's had tag team champions under her employ as well, but just monster on monster on monster, and this is not good for Matt Taylor.
Absolutely not. Oh, now rebound off the, oh, turns into a beautiful drop kick.
That's a 24-year veteran, able to find himself at any point. It's not about the move you do, it's about what the next one is. And Taylor, guy taking some chances, just knocked Xodiak in the next week. Stayed on his feet.
Big running knee, but he's coming back at him. And another one flying across the air there. Xodiak stuck down in the guard barrier.
I think he's about to pay for the seat that he's absconded with. Taylor, oh! Ooh. The sole of the face meeting up. It's probably a good thing he has a mask on because there's a red mark all the way down the side of his face.
Absolutely.
Size 12 right up in his grill.
And a chop for a good measure.
Just hit him in the one spot, not covered by his vest or his shirt. Taylor, I think now he's come back from being angry, and this is normally a precursor for him when he gets you in the corner and starts teeing off.
Absolutely. Did you see when he launched Xodiak, the entire ring just moved an inch?
Just watch Zodiac's soul escape his body on one of these chops. Matt Taylor has already left a handprint across the chest, now just trying to beat some sense, not necessarily into Xodiak, but maybe into Jexy.
I don't think there's any way that Matt Taylor will ever beat any sense into Jexy Black. Those two will probably go throughout the rest of their lives with still hatred in their hearts for one another.
Like I said, oh, big kick to the face. Like I said, they're destined to do this dance forever, as the saying goes. Oh, Taylor made one mistake.
Dropped down there by the Mystic.
Trying to final cut Taylor's head off. Right down in the center of the ring. And this is different too, Bryce, because I'm not even 100% sure that Xodiak really cares about winning this match, because to him it's just something that's happening more about assaulting Matt Taylor.
That seems to be the modus operandi of both of one half of Wikked. If they're in possession of gold, they will do win by any means necessary. But if they are just at the behest of Jexy Black, we've seen it with Alex Lynch as well. Their minds are more distorted and twisted, just dead set on making sure their opponents walk away with less days ahead of them.
Or don't walk away.
I'm sure if they could
away, I think would be their favorite part.
If they could get away with put into the ground, they would.
Legally, this might be the one place you can try it. Taylor, at least the pinky being bent the opposite way. If you can't use your hand, Most effective thing, just continue to kick a guy in the head.
It'll work eventually.
Taylor, though, known for his feet.
Oh, chop block there.
Right back to that arm, though, and Taylor might have to spend some time down the street in the hospital. And what is in the hand now? The official's on the opposite side.
I think that might have been a measuring tape, or yeah, that's a fabric measuring tape.
He stopped at Joanne Fabrics on his way just to make sure that he had something to choke Matt Taylor out with. And there's that 2-on-1 advantage where Jexy.
Xodiak is always, as I've heard rumor, that the Xodiak has handcrafted every single one of his outfits and masks. So it wouldn't surprise me that he has some sort of equipment on hand.
Just imagine that guy walking through a fabric store. You leave him alone. He takes what he wants and goes.
Talk about being the Mad Hatter of wrestling.
Haberdashery would probably not be hiring him at this point.
Most likely not.
Trying to fight himself back up to his feet. It is Matt Taylor, but he has just got to be spent right now. All the energy that he's trying to have just kind of to get himself back to even. He still can't get his arm right.
Oh, look at this.
Cannot pull the big guy down at 270.
Xodiak, I think I have a feeling I know what he's about to do.
Again, almost just stalking Matt Taylor, taking his time.
The one bit of signature offense that always comes out of the Xodiak is his very powerful right hand. We haven't seen it quite yet. Oh, misses the elbow drop. But if he is to pick up Matt Taylor and deliver a heart punch, this match is over instantly.
Also, Matt Taylor might be over. Taylor now, you can just see the look on his face. Not really knowing where it's at. Remember, he expected to come into this match or come into this night and fight Jimmy Shane.
Well, was he really expecting that, or was he just hoping for it?
One of the two, but he was always looking for a fight. The former Triple Crown champ. Now up
and down.
And halfway across the ring and down. Taylor trying to work himself back up and hit the quick forearms. Usually leads to a lot of his signature offense. Atlow, there it is. He's put away a lot of guys with that move.
The Xodiak down to his feet and kick right to the back of the head. Is this it? 1, 2. Only a 2.
You gotta imagine if you're gonna use a boomstick, you've gotta hit a couple of them to put down the Xodiak.
I mean, he walked out with fire in his hands. It's kind of his whole thing. Something a little more explosive.
It's Taylor playing with fire right now because he's up in the corner, loves to go double stomp, but look, his attention diverted with Jexy Black. He's taking a lot of time here. Up at the top and he missed. Xodiak able to get himself back.
Rolls through. You can see, though, he's favoring that right leg.
Taylor just trying to figure out what to do here. Up into the corner and the roll through. That might be enough. 1, 2. Trying to set himself up. Taylor going back to back. Oh, and Jexy again providing that distraction.
Having to be told off by the referee. Here comes Xodi.
There goes Matt Taylor. Xodiak.
Russian leg sweep for good measure.
I don't think that's going to be enough. Didn't hook the leg. 1 and 2. Taylor able to, I don't want to say power out, maybe spasm out.
While I don't know where he is, in the words of Steve, when you do a lateral press like that, if you give so much leverage, your opponent's going to be able to get out real easily.
Yeah, Steve disappeared, and we haven't been told where he's at.
That's the whole reason I'm here.
On a replacement that is more than suitable.
Why thank you?
Xodiak, again, kind of a replacement, depending on how you want to look at it
I sensed it earlier.
Taylor all the way up to the top, into that cutter. That's got to be enough. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, it is.
Nobody more despondent than Jexy Black right
this
now.
match, Dark Star, Matt Taylor.
Matt Taylor was able to avoid the heart punch in just the nick of time and turn it into a victory.
Not only that, he broke the heart of Jexy Black.
Absolutely. There's a reason why Matt Taylor is a former Triple Crown champion here at War Wrestling.
Not only here, but in a lot of other promotions too. But wait a second. Matt Taylor came in looking for Jimmy Shane, and he might get his wish. There is Jimmy Shane.
Surprisingly by himself.
Is he though?
Raised a good point.
At least for now he is.
Got
Jimmy Shane, the leader of the crew, said he's been a scumbag and a lowlife for a long time. Just nobody realized it, but he was telling the truth when he said it.
My head's on a swivel right now, looking out for any other member of the crew.
You want a match? I fight on my terms. We'll wrestle when I say I'm ready. And I think right now, I'm ready.
Oh, and here we go. The numbers advantage for the crew as usual.
The wise guys, Tommy Hamilton
Matt
and Gino
Taylor
DiCapo.
and 3G.
Taylor
Where do you
just
think you're
splattered
going?
on the
He
floor.
said he wanted a match. Get in the ring.
Of course, Jimmy never wanted to go one-on-one and go right at Matt Taylor. Always wait a second. We're not really going to do this farce, are we?
This surely can't actually count.
Another guy who's destined to do this dance with Matt Taylor for a long time, and the wise guys making the officials count a bogus, I don't even want to say match because I don't want to give it any kind of credence.
The bell was never rung. It is not an official match. That is not a loss for Matt Taylor.
Not exactly how Jimmy's going to tell the story.
Jimmy Shane will tell any story in whatever way paints him best.
The wise guys and their wise guy just pummeling Matt Taylor and forcing the official for this supposed win. What a scumbag.
The crew have always made their intentions known since day one, and they are here to run war how they see fit, and they don't care who they have to go through to do just that.
And in the words of Jimmy Shane, shamelessly.
Absolutely. Something tells me, though, that this is not going to be it between Matt Taylor and Jimmy Shane. Knowing Matt Taylor, he will be back for vengeance sooner rather than later.
War Wrestling. Did you miss me? It's been months since these lights have graced your hallowed halls. You can call me the Mystic, you can call me a monster, you can call me a man. Look in my eyes, and what you're gonna call me is the creepiest incantation of fear that this promotion has ever seen. And with me back in the Wicked's corner, if you thought we've ran amok before, oh, you're in for a hot time now!
Women's action here at Nobody's Fool. There are very few, if any, women's divisions in Ohio and in the Midwest that are as good and as deep as we have here at World Wrestling. I believe this match is going to prove it, but
Introducing first,
wait a second.
from Lexington, Kentucky,
Littlefoot out first.
the Big Flexer, Alexis Littlefoot.
Saw Alexis last month. She tried to pull the okie doke on Paloma Starr. Paloma reversed it and kind of hit her with a version of her own idea. Ended up getting the win, did Paloma. It's kind of questionable everything she did after that, but wins are wins.
Absolutely. Speaking of Paloma, we also saw the heinous actions he took against Cody Jones after he announced his impending retirement. We will have to get more info on that at a later date, but right now,
being honored by a lavish queen.
And ladies and gentlemen, from Stafford, Virginia, She's the smartest, the sickest, and the bestest Paris McQueen!
The #1 contender to the World Wrestling Women's Championship, held up by Shauna Reed, and
admittedly to Shauna's own downfall. Last month, Ripper Blackheart made it official, saying that if Paris was able to beat Shauna in the match, then she would get a title shot at a later date. Shauna Reed then proceeded to whack Paris in the head with the War Wrestling Women's Championship, and that granted her the match.
Miss McQueen.
Alexis with
I know you expected
some things
to
to
see
say.
Shauna Reed, but Shauna Reed's not here. Unfortunately.
Shauna Reed's
But
not
she
here.
told me that if I handle business like the big flexer will handle business. Shut up.
Wow.
That the #1 contender spot will become mine. And all I gotta do is be sure.
I don't know that that's something the champion can decide.
Should be easy.
That's a heck of a bounty, though.
I mean, all the same, though, it does stand to reason if you defeat the #1 contender, that should thereby put you at least in the conversation.
But remember, you just stated last month, Paris got the win that determined the fact she's the #1 contender. I guess we're going to be in for one here.
Well, one way or another, knowing Alexis Littlefoot, she is always doing whatever she can to get herself ahead. Even whether or not by means is dubious, she's still going to go ahead and do it just so she can further her career. And I can't blame her for it. I question the morals of it, but I get where she's coming from.
2024 ranked number 250 in the BW 500. Seen her all over. Turn on TV, there's a good chance she's going to be on. And
yeah, she has been all over the Midwest as of late. Not even just there. She's been going coast to coast.
Also a guy that we've seen quite a few times in Larry D, her trainer. He's just like that. You look at the trainer on the other side, and Brandon Day for Paris McQueen, and these are two young ladies that are not going to take any guff from the other.
Absolutely not. Paris McQueen with these arm drags. Alexis looking like she's saying, I need a minute, but Paris going right up in there.
She tried to say, leave me alone, but shot hard into the corner. Paris with a kiss and a running hip attack and just a little bit of funk on it.
Littlefoot none too pleased with that. Asking her to stay back for a minute. Need to recuperate after that.
You get one timeout, it would appear. Your opponent, however, can choose to end your timeout at any point.
Exactly. There's no penalty box here.
You get a timeout till you get slapped in the face.
Oh, big knee there and a kick.
A beautiful spinning heel kick, and that is just 2 count. Just enough of that connection. Thought maybe that might have been enough.
Littlefoot does call herself Big Flexer for a reason. So you saw that height she got with her leg up there. She is able to utilize her legs as just lethal weapons.
Yeah, I'm sitting down, and I don't think that my leg goes that high. Remember, this all set up by the World Wrestling Women's Champion, Shauna Reed, who is not here. We're not privy, according to her publicist, about where exactly she is, but setting this up, and you still got to feel like at some point, Paris McQueen, who gave Shauna Reed her first loss via pinfall in War in over 2 years, still going to be on the hunt for Shauna whenever she's in the building.
Absolutely.
Right now, though, paying as the 33-year-old, a 3-year pro. Ooh. Just straight hands to the collarbone.
McQueen now getting thrown across.
Trying to figure out where she is in the huge back elbow.
Got the momentum with it with that cartwheel. Snapmare there into the center. Oh, right into the spinal column is that kick.
And it's just double stomp into the cover. 1, 2, and 3. Paris got her shoulder up.
Barely got her shoulder up.
Just enough of it. And not quite sure what happened here, but Littlefoot back in control. And
hey, even if your shoulder is just a millimeter up off the mat, if the ref sees it, it's fair game.
Let's go back to the other end of this is in ballet. This is, again, kind of troublesome right now for Paris McQueen because, like you said earlier, if you're Alexis Littlefoot, you win this match. Shauna Reed has said, hey, me and you, and they have their own history. They've fought for championships before, but Paris is just kind of on Dream Street right now. Moved up out of the way and huge clothesline. I don't know how much she got on him on the second one, just continuing to fight back and fire up.
I mean, we did see last month Paris McQueen was knocked very loopy from being hit in the head with the War Women's Championship. You have to imagine you're still probably recovering a little bit of senses after something like getting banged to the head with very heavy metal.
I think she took one of those knees to the face here. And the tap-out victory for the Lavish
the
Queen.
winner of this match, Paris McQueen!
Well, whatever deal that Shauna and Alexis had is, I guess, no longer withstanding. Paris McQueen, while I'm not sure if it was ever officially in doubt, still your #1 contender to the War Women's Championship.
I don't know when or where it'll be, but May the 3rd, when it come back, it's end of days, and it could potentially be the end of days for Shauna Reed's championship run.
Very well could be, but folks, stay tuned with us here because we have some more action coming up.
We had 2 of them. Jimmy! What's up, brother? How you doing?
Did you guys see? I beat Matt Taylor. I'm sick of being in your shadow, Matt, and now that I beat you, it's time that I go for the top of war. It's time that Jimmy Shane gets everything that he deserves. It's time that Jimmy Shane gets some gold around his waist. It's time that the crew goes to the top. Everything that you had, Matt, it's mine now. Get used to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, accompanied to the ring by Jackson Black, he represents the Wikked from Boston, Massachusetts, the Lycan, Alex Lynch.
Alex Lynch, 5'11", 245 out of Boston, Mass. He said, you know, people don't understand why I call myself the Lycan. He looked at me and he said, since I know you're not smart enough to get it, which I'll be honest with you, I took offense to. He said it's a werewolf or a human-wolf hybrid, kind of how he fancies himself. And when it gets darker and when the moon comes out, he becomes a monster. And, well, look who's next to him looking for another monster.
That's always pretty self-evident. If you have Jackson Black in your corner, you're probably not that great of a person to begin
And his
with.
opponent is from right here in Lima, Ohio. Please welcome Will the Thrill.
The pride of Bath High School from just down the road.
Proud of Lima.
Coming down in the former Wildcat now with a big chance. After last month, he went at it himself in a 4-way tag match for the War Wrestling Tag Team titles. He tried to go at it himself. He ended up not having the services of Cassius Starr. Later in the matchup, ended up with Apollo Starr on the apron, trying to be his partner. But of course, the man in the ring and Alex Lynch would have stopped at that. And Will said, I'm tired of this. Give me Alex Lynch.
And we saw just right before our event earlier today around 4 p.m., Alex Lynch and Will the Thrill, they just started throwing hands over in the VIP section. These two clearly have no love lost for one another, and you can see it on Alex's face. He is ready to just dig his claws into the body of Will the Thrill. Will, meanwhile, he's gritting his teeth, telling the crowd to get ready because I think he's ready to throw hands himself.
And remember, too, the deal with Alex Lynch and Apollo Starr is because the record books will show that Alex Lynch with that spear beat Apollo Starr earlier on in the night. Now contending with Will, who former tag team champion, probably one of the favorite folks to come through the curtain here in Lima. Being in Lima zone surely helps. And I think a lot of people, Bryce, see themselves in Will in that he represents all of them and that he's not a 450-pound monster. He just comes out and he's got the biggest fight of anybody in the building.
Absolutely. Will represents the common man. He's the type of guy you can look to and say, if he can do it, I can do it.
Except for that.
Not a lot of people can do that. That is something that Will has all to his own.
I feel common, and I don't think I can do that. Will, though, just a house of fire early on, and Alex Lynch trying to figure out where he's at. Between, though, the two of them is Jexy.
Jexy trying to stop the advances of Thrill, but now here comes the Lycan.
Lynch, just bullied him.
About knocked over our light tower.
It's not even anything fancy.
Oh, goodness. Head first straight into the ring post.
You know, Alex Lynch told me he hates the Midwest, being from Boston.
That doesn't surprise me.
He's taken out, again, the pride of the Midwest right now in Will the Thrill. The former multiple-time tag team champion who he's had kind of a rough go of it lately. His friends keep turning on him. For really no fault of his own. You go back and you look at how he and Jimmy Shane lost the World Wrestling Tag Team Championships to the Wikked. They ended up, he was trying to do what was right.
Well, you also got to think, though, you got to imagine, like you just said, he's had multiple people turn against him. At what point do you have to go, who's the common denominator?
It's like Taylor Swift song, kick out at 2. Everybody keeps breaking up with you at some point.
Yeah, Will is a very good-spirited person. That I have no doubt about. But you also got to recognize that Will is a very prideful person. I mean, he's the pride of Lima, so of course he would be. But
he just pridefully ate an elbow.
And pridefully just got Beal thrown all across the ring.
Very small airport, the Allen County Airport, but that's where he's going to book his flight. Oh, goodness.
Just caved in Will's chest with that one.
Just being brutalized. Look at the strength.
Sparing no expenses here.
Lynch for that stalling suplex. He might have broken Will. Will, though, kicks out at 2 somehow.
That pride, again, pushing him forward. He's the type of guy, he's going to fight to the bitter end, even if it is against his own best interests. And I think that's always been Will's problem. He doesn't know when he needs to say no.
And the Lycan now powering himself up. That bodybuilding background just ragdolling Will on that German suplex. Might be trying to just squeeze Will's head off.
Sinking that in nice and deep as it is the Lycan. Will, though, holding on for dear life as his head is slowly turning cherry red.
Might be the purple that matches his tights before. Breathing seems like a problem for a fight. Will able to get right back up, and down he goes. Just destroyed by Lynch, who he just yelled out towards the camera, "He can't beat me."
Lynch has just been treating Will like a rag doll thus far. Very, very arrogant cover.
So I would try it the other way. Same 2 count.
Every second you give your opponent like that, lets that air get back into the lungs, that's the time that Will needs to be able to recuperate.
Trying to fight himself back to center, and Will said, "Go ahead, hit me again." Oh, no.
Honestly, that's probably more disrespectful than just punching him.
Just slapped him right in the face. It's just straight right hand. Who got worse of that, though? Will kind of staggered himself now as he just sends fists halfway back to Boston. He's shipping him up there. Swing, and there's the mistake. Will, able to fight it back. Arm drag.
Big arm drag getting thrown down to the mat.
Swing blade.
Swing blade. Getting tossed out like the tee into the harbor.
All of a sudden, Lynch now trying to figure out what it is Jexy's yelling at him, but the more powerful of the two
Oh,
Will.
still able to reverse it around. Lynch can drop straight into that turnbuckle.
Will better get quickly. Drop kick right to the side of the head for Lynch, and Will thinking about the top rent.
Nice little drive-by there. And now we're about to see why Will the Thrill is so popular here with his aerial combat.
Will
Huge
is the
crossbody.
Thrill. Now the crossbody, 1, 2. Ref, that was 3.
Not quite.
Referee must have went to Shawnee High School, which is a rival for, well, where Will went. I said, come on, ref. Will loading up for a super kick. A full head of steam, and he just made that mistake. Took just a little bit too long, and a massive spine buster. Good night, Will.
Deep,
1,
deep
2.
cover.
Wow.
I am astounded that Will was able to get his shoulder up. Not just because of the spine buster, because of how far Alex had his whole body up on Will's upper half.
Yeah, we saw that earlier on, that it wasn't able to be rotated, but that time in this match, it worked out perfectly. This might be again. Will in the deep water. Tries the reversal, rolls him up. 1, 2, 3, and Will back to win.
Somehow, some way,
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this match,
Pull it out, but he's got to watch because Lynch doesn't care. He's not a guy that relies on wins and losses to prove how he did.
This is exactly what I was saying during Taylor versus Xodiak. Alex Lynch is a man who cares about ferocity, and that's it.
It's a hired gun now for Jexy, who continues to apparently just try to disrupt this entire show, but
here comes Apollo.
Former respect champion and potentially a guy trying to put himself in the championship paces. And Apollo Starr out to save Will the Thrill, his son's a tag team partner, as it would be. See how quickly, even after getting a, let's just say, questionable win over Apollo Starr last month, how quickly Alex Lynch made his way to the door.
Apollo Starr is a man that you do not want to be dealing with at all whatsoever.
Might be dancing. Apollo with a save and Will with a win.
And there you see Apollo raising the hand of your victor here tonight. Will was just motioning, saying he wants a title of some sort, and he pointed at Apollo. Now what could that potentially mean?
Apollo's got to win a couple of matches first, but maybe something down the line. Well, the throw on Apollo Starr.
Well, we'll see Apollo later tonight, so folks, stay tuned.
You know, Shauna, I'm going to be real 100 with you. I don't believe that you had some emergency that you needed to go back to Europe for, especially with seeing on Facebook you posting about how excited you were for it. So emergency, my ass. And all tonight did was prove that I am a worthy #1 contender for you. Promising Alexis Littlefoot some shot at your title because she beat me? Now you're just a champion who is afraid, and you are proving that fact. So thank you, Shauna. So when I get my hands on you now in May, hopefully, if you don't run away again, I will make sure that you know that I am the smartest, I am the sickest, and I am the best woman in war wrestling, and I will make sure this is going to hurt.
Here you see, River Blackhart's got another announcement up here.
River is putting in quite the shift today, huh?
Chairman of the board, saying Team GYSI for life.
I don't like how chummy the crew and the Wikked have been getting here lately, even more so tonight. So I'm gonna make a match right here, right now, and we're gonna test your little bond of friendship, whatever it is you guys got going on. Don't wanna step on your toes here, Rick, but this next match is a tag team match for the #1 contendership for the #1 contendership for the tag team titles.
Jexy Black looks frazzled, but
Don't worry,
that should be something that excites her.
It's you, your team, the Wikked versus the Wise Guys.
I don't think it's that as much as she doesn't like being told something. This could potentially benefit the former tag team champions, but I think because it's coming from Ripper.
Yeah, Jexy is somebody who absolutely does not like
That's
when
the
things go
match.
away from her plans.
Jexy has been ejected.
She likes having every possibility mapped out ahead of time.
Get over it. I'm done with you and all you guys' crap. You guys are get to the corner. You're already out here. Someone hit the Wise Guys music, and we're going to have this match right now.
So a night of surprise is an impromptu #1 contenders tag team match.
You can tell River Blackheart is sitting in his mind going TSI, PMO.
This stuff is really making it
They are coming to the ring by no shame, Jimmy Shane. From Little Chicago, the main man, Gino DiCampo. From Boston, Massachusetts, Tommy Hamilton. They are the Crew.
Brings up my next question. Why is it that all the guys from Boston are so angry tonight? Did Celtics lose?
They're from Boston. They're always angry.
They're mad at Tom Brady?
Well, you can see the Wise Guys here are having a much better attitude of what's happening here than the Wikked were. They're all smiles right now. They're like, oh heck yeah, #1 contendership chance, we'll take it.
Yeah, I think that might be the thing that's getting lost between these two groups of, I'll say, gentlemen.
I don't know if you can call
Those
either
are in
side.
quotes. That's a gentleman in quotes. I'm just trying not to have those 4 humongous human beings come beat me up.
Fair point. Yeah.
My address is 1 Ripper Blackhart Way. You can find me in the phone book. The tie tonight, by the way, is a nice touch.
I guess Kronos was expecting a job interview after this.
Or he was gonna, I don't even know, crash a prom. Imagine that guy. We're gonna get a handshake to open this match.
Either of these teams giving anybody out. There we go. I was about to say, neither of these groups are nice enough to do a handshake.
I think the Wise Guys figured out what was going on there. Looking for the 3G. They already hit it once today. Oh, my goodness.
You're not going to be lifting up Kronos, that's for sure.
Put his hat, they threw his hat at him.
That's
Tommy
just
Hamilton just being treated pretty rudely. Say monster comes to you.
This is impromptu #1 contendership match for the War Tag Team Championship is underway.
I'm just pretty sure that if you gave me a list of all the tag teams in War Wrestling and said, which 4 do you believe are going to shake hands? These 4 would have been the last 4 on that list.
Absolutely.
I said, why? So, Amos, who says fear is nothing but a state of mind, not apparently afraid of the Wise Guys. He will,
Kronos is dragging Tommy by one hand across the ring.
Tommy Hamilton is 300 pounds.
Do you think maybe this match is a belated birthday gift to Amos, who had his birthday about 2 days ago?
You'd like to believe that he's older and wiser, but he's picking a fight with Tommy Hamilton. Right now, though, he's winning. That's the one thing you cannot take away from the Wikked, the former War Wrestling Tag Team Champions, that they are so good when it comes to making a wish, but being able to isolate opponents on their half of the ring and have the match be a 300-pound man violence there. The match be on their terms.
And you also have to consider, normally when it comes to the other members of the Wikked, they're all kind of loose cannons, but Kronos especially is one himself. Unless he's under the command of Amos, I don't know what Amos has done to be able to get the reins on the Berserker, but whatever he's done, it's effective right now as he's going to choke Tommy Hamilton with a tie.
And then he took it off. Said, I've had enough of choking this guy with my tie. 371 days and 8 successful title defenses here in War for the Wikked, but
I'm still not over the fact that Cronus is wearing a tie at all.
probably only with the ability to choke, because Gino, he can't come in. His partner just being abused in the opposite corner. Tommy taking the brunt of the punishment.
This is not a common position for the Wise Guys to ever be in.
Probably a smart position, though, for Amos, because he went right to the shoulder. This is not a guy I want to get up and have him throw left hands in my face. Jimmy Shane, I guess, trying to offer the official some of his
bribery.
drinking. He's now providing a distraction that allowed Irish and Tommy Hamilton now to get himself into
I was about to say, we can't say that. The Indiana State Police are still on the lookout for that man.
Yeah, that's a different guy. He looks a lot like him, maybe his brother.
Cousin from like a third uncle removed.
Gino told me to forget about it. I don't know what that meant. Suplex to Amos. 1-2, and I guess the question becomes, who's the most mentally stable of the guys in the ring?
Is it?
If it's Amos.
It feels like a cold
The answer is
day.
just no.
Yeah. I was to say, I don't think any of them count for that.
Maybe still, massive power slam. Thought it was going to be a 3G, but an 80s leg drop instead.
Every single time either Gino or Hamilton touch the mat, you feel the whole Bradfield Community Center shake.
Tommy Hamilton told me he goes all across the Midwest just beating people up because it's fun. Sometimes he gets paid for it. Like tonight, the former OCW heavyweight champ, and he's really blossomed the last handful of years. The violence, obviously, but just kind of his ability to pick apart guys. And you may not like all the ways that he goes about his work, but you're not going to outsmart him when it comes to being able to beat you up.
Very, very true. Ever since he originally won the War Tag Team Championships alongside the Wise Guys, underneath the tutelage of Ripper Blackheart, no less, he's grown as a competitor. I won't say grown as a person.
He's grown horribly as a human being.
But hey, results are results. Wrestling is one of the few places where you can get away with just being an awful person.
Ask Jimmy Shane.
Exactly.
A deep 2 count from Gino.
Ask Jexy Black.
That's true. Remember Gino, though, a couple of years ago actually knocked off Brandon Day. So he's got big-time wins. He's a guy that can get things done. But like I said, all 4 guys in the ring, you just kind of question their mentality at times. Jexy, I thought maybe she had cost her team a tag, but go in there and tell Kronos, Joe, that you didn't see a tag.
I don't think for anyone's safety that they
I think maybe if he'd have taken a drink out of the flask.
Oh, well.
He might have done it then.
Perhaps.
Probably still not. Jexy interjecting herself again. How many times are we going to have to see that?
For legal purposes, we can't imply that any consumption on the job is happening.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's what I was told by Gino's lawyer anytime I reference anything. Alleged. Amos with a boot right to the face.
Unless it's proven to court of a law or the court of boots, then you cannot say otherwise.
I think that's the great equalizer. Kronos, that wasn't nice.
I'm surprised that Kronos understands that. Now just putting his foot down onto the hair of Gino DiCapo. Gino feeling all of his follicles screaming in agony.
He's going to be very upset. He's got a nice head of lettuce.
He does.
Said he uses a really nice conditioner. I was surprised he used the word nice twice in a sentence. Oh, no.
Tommy Hamilton.
What have you done?
Realizing he might have perhaps messed up.
The punches by Gino. The made man fighting his way back to his feet. And now, what I was saying earlier about the Wikked working for Hamilton and Gino. Oh, in the wrong corner. And Gino
Oh, no.
How are you doing? Face full of leather.
Tommy just realizing too little too late.
So wait a second. Kronos, again, remember this for the number one contenders for the tag team title, and down both go. That's two massive dudes knocking one another out.
You saw Kronos try to turn around there for a cover. Gino rolling his way away from him before he could get there.
Surprised they aren't chanting beef at this point. Kronos.
At this point, those two men in the same ring are more than just beef. That's a full-on ox.
It's a buffet. Amos in charge, but Gino quickly. Amos! Wow! That wasn't as much the back elbow that he planned. He almost headbutted him.
Absolutely. Kind of just threw his whole self at him. Tommy Hamilton just careening down to the floor.
They're going to find him 2 towns over. The former tag team champs of the Wikked now in control. Gino up. This has not ended well, but oh, Tommy with a great cut.
And there's a cover. 1, 2.
Amos with a knee to the back of the head, or the elbow rather, to the back of the head.
He jumped on just in the nick of time, but this match is quickly breaking down.
I think it would have been easier to just call it a brawl. Tommy said, we're done here, looking for another 3G. Got Amos up, and oh! Amos got the worst of it, but it wasn't what?
Well, that was 1.5 Gs.
That's if that works in this building. It wasn't even what they designed, but it still worked out. Amos, he just took a flight school application and said, no thanks, I've already been on my trip. Now I don't know what they're doing.
Using Amos as a...
Oh, Jimmy.
Wait. Jimmy Shane holding on to Tommy, making sure he's in place.
Oh, good Lord.
And a nice little shove from Jimmy, acting as extra rocket fuel.
Run over by a semi-truck. Amos did not see the wise guys behind him. Looking for bada bing in the 3G.
There's your bada boom.
1, 2, and new.
3.
Number one contenders, and look who's looking on. Injection Black with an unhappy look, and that does not bode well for anybody.
For the War Wrestling Tag Team Championship, McMahon.
The new number one contenders. Who are they going to face?
Tommy
We don't know. We'll have to find out later in the show.
Yes, our main event tonight will be a Fool's Gold match, where the Tag Team Championship and the Respect Championship will both be on the line. We will get to that match later on in our main event. For right now, love them or hate them, the crew leaves as number one contenders, and I am sure that the Wikked are going to be pulling out all of their anger later tonight when the Beastman returns.
Once again, Tommy, once again, Jimmy, we're out here proving what we already know. And what we know is when the wise guys are together, when Jimmy Shane is with us, when the crew walks through that curtain, there isn't anybody better, not just in war, not just in this state, in the whole damn country. And tonight, the wise guys knocked off former tag team champs. We, Tommy, are the number one contenders for those War Tag Team titles. And on May 3rd, at the end of days, Gimmicks Inc., your end of days are coming. You see, you had your fun. The revolving door of tag team partners was cute. It was amusing. Jean-Paul, everyone's favorite mime. The kids love you. The old ladies love you. But the women love the crew. And the women love champions.
And when we walk out the doors on May 3rd, the wise guys are gonna be War Tag Team Champions.
There you see an angry young man from
Ladies and
Northeast
gentlemen,
Ohio.
the next match is scheduled for one
It's Jacob
fall.
Rose, but
Introducing first,
I'll be honest
he's
with you,
from
I'm not really sure
Cleveland,
he's angry about it. He's on
Ohio.
a 3-0 run here in the
God's
25 of War
gift to women, Jacob Rose.
I want you to talk about how great he is, so go ahead.
Well, he calls himself God's gift to women. Maybe that's why he's angry. And wrestling. Maybe that's why he's angry. Maybe he hasn't gotten any women in his DMs lately.
They're not sliding in there. I'll tell you what he said here in a minute. He told me backstage he has a whole, he didn't so much tell me as he sort of screamed it at me in a hallway.
Demanded it of you.
But what he should be mad about is the fact that he has drawn the ire of the War Wrestling Hall of Famer and the Triple Crown champion in Orlando Christopher. If ever someone comes to fight,
Ladies and
it's
gentlemen,
that guy.
from the Rage Dojo, Orlando Christopher.
He will fight you, he will fight you, he will punch you in the mouth, he'll fight you again, and there's a good chance, given his history here in War Wrestling, he's probably going to win.
This is very, very true. Orlando Christopher, like you said, Jacob Rose had drawn his ire. No doubt, in part because of what he did to Ryan Michaels for months now. Ryan Michaels and Orlando Christopher have drawn a sort of mutual respect with one another after their continued battles over this year. And now having seen Jacob Rose just
Peel over it,
cowardly delivering a stomp to Michaels after a match. Orlando Christopher said, all right, if Michaels is tied up in our main event, then I'll go have a go at you.
I'll rather let you have a go at me because I don't believe that you're maybe necessarily my kind of guy, but you know, Rose thinks he's something otherworldly too. He actually told me he came into this match and he's mad that War thinks that he should have to stoop down to the level of Orlando Christopher, his words, and that he's mad at ugly people because he feels like the only good-looking person in the locker room is Jacob Rose, and that there are not exactly any attractive women in Lima.
Well, that last statement notwithstanding, Orlando Christopher clearly seems to be the favorite here amongst the two men.
Again, anytime you insult half the audience, there's probably a good reason for that. And it's not like Mother's Day isn't that far away. Jacob Rose is not, he does not make friends anywhere he goes.
No, he does not. He may be a former War Tag Team champion, but that does not mean that he is a very personable person.
But remember, the guy on the other side has kind of said, you know, I don't talk, I fight, I earn my respect. He's been a respect champion, he's been a tag team champion, he's been the War Heavyweight champion for a short time. Oh, and he's also in the War Wrestling Hall of Fame, and he's not really down with Rose trying to fight the crowd on his dime.
Absolutely not. Orlando just waiting for Rose to stop jaw-jacking, as I'm sure he'd put it, but get into the ring. And there you see the War faithful here very clearly behind Orlando Christopher as the lockup begins.
It's kind of the age-old version of the Cleveland-Detroit rivalry. Orlando Christopher spent a lot of his time, even though being kind of more from Hazel Park of a Detroit base, and it doesn't seem to take too well to Rose. And Rose, I think that's the most aggression we've seen from him for a while. You remember, for a long time, was kind of a happy-go-lucky guy, but something changed. And then, of course, the fallout with everything that happened to him.
He stuck around Humbleville too long is what happened.
I think it made him humble. That was a couple of months ago, was kind of an odd ending, but Orlando Christopher now says, excuse me, Mr. Referee, you're in my way. I'm trying to go to work.
Lock up once again. Jacob Rose again outpowering Orlando Christopher, getting him into the corner. Tries to go for a cheap shot, but flinches when Orlando returns one of his own.
Oh, he messed up his hair.
Now that's an egregious sin.
Rose is not going to take that well. That's what's so great about Orlando Christopher. We've seen him, he can put on those technical matches. We've seen that. He can be a tag team guy. We saw a couple of years ago here, the anniversary show in this building, almost where we're sitting at. He jumped off the balcony and onto another human being. He can do a little bit of everything, and he does everything well.
That he does, but Jacob Rose right now wisely holding onto the rope, and even still Orlando found a way to bring Rose down to force.
And for the cradle, for the pin, 1 and 2.
Only a 2 count there. Oh, quickly followed up upon.
How much do you think that the rage, that Rose goes with it, roll through his Christopher, and again, creative ways to get to the pin, but Rose right now just sort of running on anger, and he paid for it. Up and under and into the front row.
Jacob Rose thrown onto the outside.
OC thinking about catching a flight.
This is at this moment right now is Orlando's to miss. But miss he didn't if you don't take the shot.
You don't even get the ball. Rose applauding himself.
Despite Jacob Rose's arrogance, we do also have to recognize that Jacob Rose, like I mentioned earlier, former World Tag Champion. He's won singles championships all over the shop, all across the Midwest by this point. So he is a seasoned competitor in himself. He might not have as many years in the professional wrestling business as Orlando Christopher, but he's still at least been doing this for 7+ years now.
He's great. Just ask him. Hell, halftime, you don't even have to ask him.
He'll just tell you.
But he's trying to get a win today, not only to get to 4-0 in the calendar year in 2025, but to prove that everything you were saying, all the superlatives of a guy like Orlando Christopher, that he's on that level. Oh, straight rights, though. Orlando said, take that for your level. A bailout, a thumb right to the eye.
Knock that eye too far back into the socket, you're going to have a really big problem on your hands.
I always say I hope there's a good doctor nearby. Hospital's just a couple of blocks down the street. Or at least a good optometrist. It's Rose. Again, going back to a couple of guys we talked about, kind of the way that they get things done. They get things done, but their methods sometimes are a little bit different to get there. And Rose just trying to kind of flip the switch. He tried the technical. He tried to outsmart Orlando Christopher. Now he's just going to go to brutalize him.
Taking that arm of Orlando Christopher, yanking it back, but you see also applying the pressure down onto the shoulder as if he's trying to separate the cuffs in there, attaching the shoulder to the rest of the arm.
Maybe he's got a friend who's a doctor and he's trying to get him some business. Beautiful suplex. Is that enough for the cover? Not even close. It's Orlando just trying to figure out where he's at.
And those strikes to the back of the head are not helping whatsoever. Jacob Rose just taunting Christopher at this point.
He's screaming in his face. He's not going to learn.
That is the one person you cannot get away with doing that to. It'll only make Orlando more powerful.
Orlando powerfully sent on his back. 1 and 2. Hit him with a pretty good high knee.
Christopher now clutching the sides of his head. You have to imagine his brain must be throbbing at the moment.
At least jiggled around inside the skull there, but I'm just kind of trying to choke him out a little bit.
Take advantage of the fact that Christopher is a little loopy at the moment. Try and see if you can make that brain shake, rattle, and roll enough that you're just out for the count.
Yeah, there's not many times a guy can just straight punch you in the face that is good for you, I would imagine. Orlando trying to fight his way back up. That'll be helpful. Also, the problem is you use the top of your own head.
That's what I was just about to get at you. Oh, beautiful German suplex there.
OC throws punches. I would say you pick the locker room and maybe outside of Beastman. He's the last guy I would have taken a punch to the face from. because Beastman's hands are like Buicks.
Yeah, that's more like getting hit with a Warhammer.
Oh. No, I think that was a different guy that used to work here. He tried that. Rose now taking a chance.
Christopher able to
What's
get
the
back
great
up.
equalizer? Straight right hands.
Hey, it's a classic for a reason.
Rose is somewhere down at near the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland in his head right now.
Oh, Rose, looks like he's about to get sent for a ride. Both men for the top.
Long way down.
Gigantic superplex there. I just saw the whole entire ring jump up.
That is bad news, but both guys not just trying to get back up, trying to figure out where they are.
You see Orlando having to wiggle his hand, mess around with his fingers just to make sure he can feel everything still.
Both guys trying to punch their way back up to their feet. And I talked about it, how this is a big thing for Rose to try to prove himself that he's on the level of this type of talent that we have in world wrestling, but it's such a bigger thing of kind of trying to prove that he can be that tough guy. Guys think maybe, he's not about that life. Christopher made a mistake.
Now low bridge there.
And then Rose made one.
Once again, onto the outside. Is Christopher actually going to go for the drop? No! Instead, going for a diving drop kick.
Orlando says, I've got one more. Rose has got to get back up. OC over the top and down.
Giant tope con hero. Jacob Rose and Orlando Christopher are both just like splayed out like a pancake.
Didn't plant the rose, he planted the whole garden.
But Christopher, the first one back up to his feet.
OC not going to let this one end in a count out. He knows that he's on the right track now. A long way out, though, is Rose. OC up at the top, elbow to the heart. If Jacob had one, he'd be done. Two.
Apparently not, because somehow, some way, Jacob Rose kicking out there at the last possible second.
Again, a big part of this is Rose trying to prove he's a tough guy, show what he can do, put himself, and you would imagine, in line for at least conversation for the respect title, which will be on the line in a Fool's Gold match later on. Rose up and how about that?
Standing down too. Christopher kicks out, but Rose right back on top.
Smart move on Rose's part. Back-to-back moves and dropped him right at the back of his head again. 1-2 and Rose screaming out.
Is third time going to be the charm? Is he going to go for it again?
Someone told him he has to go to Pittsburgh, and he wasn't thrilled about it. All the way, though.
Yeah, it's better in Cleveland.
Not in his opinion. It's being from Cleveland, he's probably not thrilled about it. Said he didn't even know what a terrible towel was. Didn't sound like a good thing. But he's taking a lot of time letting OC get back up.
This is, again, that arrogance, that sort of cockiness about Rose coming back to bite him. This is that time that you want to be staying on your opponent. You want to be continuing the assault, and now I think his anger is just getting the best of him. He knows he can't use that chair.
Especially because he's bragged and bragged and bragged about his 3-0 record.
And surely Jacob's not about to throw it all away for that.
Swing and a miss. He's not Jose Ramirez. That would have been 3 home runs, but
if there's someone who has no qualms about using a chair.
OC thought about it, but Rose into the corner, up on the turnbuckle, and he got the 3 count.
Referee didn't
Ladies
see
and
it.
gentlemen, the winner of this match.
By hook or by crook.
Rose.
It would appear the latter is true tonight.
Using that extra bit of leverage thanks to the physics of gravity, Jacob Rose extends his undisputed feat in 2025 at War to 4-0. And Orlando Christopher he's seething there.
Disbelief on the face of the World Wrestling Hall of Famer. Jacob Rose with a win. Put that in your 2025 bingo card.
Well, everybody, I'm sure Jacob Rose is going to have some choice words for whatever's to come to follow. Either way, the War faithful here. Standing ovation here for Orlando Christopher's efforts. We'll be right back with some more action, though.
Cody Jones, Crash Jackson, Matthew Taylor, and now Orlando Christopher. That is 4-0 this year, baby! Undefeated! And let's not forget, last month I also put Ryan Michaels' head through the mat. I'm the top of the food chain here at War Wrestling. Nobody can beat me. I am God's gift to women, God's gift to wrestling, and God's gift to war.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next match will determine who will compete for the vacant War Wrestling Championship on May the 31st. The winner of this match will compete May 31st to determine a new War Wrestling Champion.
All right, everybody. Rick Toms just said it. The following contest is going to determine who will go on to the anniversary show and challenge for the War Heavyweight Championship.
Are coming into the ring by Jexy Black from deepest, darkest West Virginia. He's King Kong Husk Beastman.
When this day started, Beastman had been War Wrestling Champion for 307 days. When this show started, Beastman, who, like he said, was stripped of the title,
and ladies and
so
gentlemen,
angered
from the
right now,
Rage
he nearly
Dojo,
knocked
by
Jexy
the
over
way of
on his way to the
Buffalo,
ring.
New York. He is War Wrestling's Hall of Famer, Poison Apollo Starr.
Apollo Starr, the fifth War Wrestling Champion, won it from Caden Assad back in 2011. Was the fourth man to hold that championship, but a lot has happened for him since then. A Hall of Fame induction, tag team championship. Yep. His kid has done pretty well here. Respect title. He has done everything except for slay the mighty Beastman.
Very, very true, but tonight might be the night. Apollo Starr has been running in the way of the crosshairs of the Wikked as of late, and now I think this is all going to be the do or die moment. Will Apollo be able to not just survive, but to defeat the mightiest monster in the Wicked's arsenal, in the Beastman?
We know that on End of Days, on May the 3rd, Crash Jackson will be one half of a match to determine the other half of the anniversary show title match. But who is going to be this half? Beastman again is just agitated by Jexy Black.
That's a very, very rare occurrence, and that's something that we should all be worried about. If even Jexy doesn't seem to have a full grasp on the Beastman, then no one in this building is safe.
We saw earlier on, and those two having words, Beastman with the bone. When's the last time you saw him just come away with it, other than when he saw the Crash Jackson with it last month?
When was the time you saw any member of the Wicked give Jexy a command?
Or her follow it. Now they Stone Age Savage in the corner, and Apollo Starr on the other side. Poison. But the question remains, for who? For Jexy, for Beastman? This is a
or for himself
match that would sell out, I would say, pretty much any arena you can think of. Apollo Starr, 5'10", 220. Beastman well above that, out of deepest, darkest West Virginia. I don't know where that is, but I don't want to go there.
My guess is it probably involves a cave.
I assumed it was somewhere down past Charleston.
Maybe a little west of Richmond.
I don't know, but Apollo kind of trying to get Beastman to. Oh, he's got Beastman dancing. Wait a second.
Beastman's got moves.
The Beastman boogie?
But Apollo's got more.
Apollo's having no effect, though, punching Beastman in the chest and in the face.
We have seen the Beastman take on every which comer along the way in his title defenses of the War Heavyweight Championship.
including a TLC match against Matt Taylor.
Exactly. And for Apollo to be able to stand a chance, he's going to have to dig as far, probably further in his arsenal than he's had to dig in quite a while to be able to put the Beastman down for long enough.
One thing we know about Apollo, though, is he's a bad mother.
True.
Yeah, drop kick right to the stomach. Apollo seemingly rolling, but the amount of things that we've seen, the other defenses, Xavier Walker, Crash Jackson, that you have to get against Beastman, just a massive amount of things you have to string together to put him down for 3 seconds.
And lo and behold, let alone try and potentially submit the Beastman. I don't know if that's ever happened.
Pretty sure that Beastman would be the biggest member of the War Wrestling roster that Apollo has ever hooked a gas chamber on. If he's even able to do it.
I'm not sure with how girthy he is that he could.
It's a lot of that martial arts background, though, for the former War Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. And
look out.
The great equalizer. Throw a guy into the rails.
Apollo, you just see his head down there, stuck between the bars of the guard barrier. That was disgusting.
Apparently there's some Beastman fans in the front row. Now, I don't know what's happening, but he made some friends.
The Beastman, what we saw earlier today, the Beastman was in a very rare good mood until River Blackheart had to drill it into him that no, you should not be in a good mood.
He read some really good paintings on his cave.
You want to film me?
Just trying to crush Apollo's head.
I'm out here.
Apollo just writhing on the ground now.
I crush your head. My goodness, just put him in a vice lock. And you go back the other way. We talk about what Apollo has to do to put away Beastman, but what Beastman has to do to put down a guy like Apollo who does not know the meaning of the word quit.
You're definitely correct. We saw in Apollo's War Respect Championship reign not too long ago, every single month, day in, day out, he was defending that title, enduring so much punishment from every which comer. I feel like every single one of Apollo's limbs has been beaten down, crushed in every which way, and yet he still kept coming out on top. And takes quite the person to be able to take down Apollo Starr.
Apollo just got run over by an apartment building. Beat Caden Assad for the War Wrestling Championship at the Putnam County Fair in 2011. Lost it back to him 5 months later in a steel cage match that I remember that match vividly, and it had a level of brutality that was just kind of unmatched until today. Apollo Starr does not get beaten up a lot, but a submission hold from Beastman.
Poking that arm back, trying to make Apollo Starr just scream for mercy more so than that. You see his arm is just contorted fully backwards right now underneath him. Apollo with nowhere to go. He's caught center in the ring. He is not going to be able to make it out over to the ropes.
You go back and you look over the years, the list of War Wrestling Heavyweight Champions, 15, 16 guys have held that championship about 20 times, and it's a crazy list, but Apollo Starr has been the constant through a lot of that. He was around right after Stevie Lee, the first War Wrestling champion. You get guys on that list, Aaron Williams, Jock Sampson, Juice Jennings multiple times, and to have Jeremy Madrox, a guy that Apollo had different kind of submission matchups with. Beastman now showing, hey, all those guys on that list, I can bring you everything they can do tonight.
The Beastman has been in
It's a choke slam. 1, 2, and it's done. Oh,
somehow not. The Beastman's been in a rare show of form tonight here, not just in his behavior, but in just the pure what he's seemingly bringing out that we haven't seen him do, even in his most toughest challenges, like against Brandon Day. You didn't see him pull out a submission move on Brandon. He's
punch, punch, kick, kick, destroy, destroy.
Thrown to a table.
or throw a chair at him after he threw it at the title with Matt Taylor.
So for someone like Apollo to be forcing Beastman to go into this depth that some people might not have been aware that he had, that says a lot about the power of Apollo.
But you wonder, too, with the apparent disconnect between Jexy and between Beastman, as Apollo now full head of steam into the clothesline, will you see the Wikked come into play? Or is Beastman going at this alone? Big miss on the jump in the face first on the canvas.
The crowd now urging on Apollo as he's choosing to climb up the ropes.
And look at the look on Jexy's face of just disdain right now. But you don't know if it's for Apollo or Beastman. A huge drop kick. Right on point.
It takes a whole lot to be able to knock the Beastman down to the ground, and a maneuver like that is exactly what you gotta do.
Spinning back heel puts out a lot of guys for Apollo Starr. And lately it's been a precursor to a submission. Here comes Apollo again. He got it again.
If you're gonna go for a submission on Beastman, you wanna make sure, absolutely, positively, that he is out for the count.
Beastman's not exactly sure where he is, but Jexy put the bone in his hand, and Jexy essentially distracting the official to save this match. Apollo, he doesn't know the bone is in play.
That woolly mammoth bone straight to the cranium.
And still, Jexy Black proven dividends. You can count to 100. Oh, Beastman put his foot on the rope. The official saw it. Goes back for the cover, and I told you can count to 100.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this match and advancing to the finals.
What you're trying to say is your next heavyweight champion will be my Beastman. I will have my title back!
All right, we'll find out on May the 31st.
So
when
right now,
Beastman
vacant as the
competes
War
for
Wrestling
the vacant
champion. That guy wins a lot of times.
War Wrestling Championship.
But a Beastman saying he's getting it back. Or rather, Jexy saying Beastman's getting it back. You want to go ahead and go down there and argue with him?
Absolutely no. I will not do that. If there's one thing I will never bet against, it's the Beastman. Not to say that I bet in the first place, but
Beastman loves some Beastman right now, but us.
Something I just want to point out before we go away for our next match is even after Beastman got the 3 count, did you see the look on his face? His tongue out, smiling. Well, that wasn't just him trying to win. That was him playing with his food.
Sadistic and right now impressive for Beastman in the win, but I don't know what May or the anniversary show is going to look like, but tonight, Apollo Starr needing help to get to the back.
Everyone stay tuned, but for now, one half of the War Heavyweight Championship match has been decided.
Beastman, to hell with it. I'm not gonna make no excuses. I had a shot at the title tonight and I lost. It is what it is. It's not how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up, and you better damn well believe that I'm gonna be back up. Now, that brings us to Alex Lynch. Alex Lynch, you seem to have a problem. You got a victory over me once, but you lost tonight. But you couldn't handle defeat, and that's cool. Next time we hear, May 3rd, I'm gonna show you how to deal with defeat. I'm gonna show you how to deal with pain. I'm gonna take you into them deep waters and you gonna drown, son. Nice with mine, like fine wine, and better than I was when you saw me last time. See you next time.
It's main event o'clock here at Nobody's Fool. And now, folks, we're in for a Fool's Gold match.
Speaking of fools, wait a second.
What? Steve!
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the
coach,
evening.
but not the one that we thought.
Gold match. Coming to the ring by Coach Steve.
Steve has spent a lot of his time
Kimbro.
up here talking a lot of mess about Coach Cat.
Ringer
And
Maverick.
now it appears
The first
that
stringer.
with the first
And
stringers,
from
the
Powell,
War Respect
Ohio.
champion of Brandon Field.
He is the War
I mean,
Respect champion.
Last month,
The
he was
professional
talking to highly praising
Field.
varsity athletes here with Brandon Fields and first stringers, but I didn't even know he was here. But we said it earlier, the whole reason I'm here is because nobody could find him.
Well, apparently we're going to find out why he's here this way.
I'm pretty sure you all been wondering where Coach Cat's been. He's out doing a little recruitment to make this faction even better. So what did he do? He called in the best assistant coach you could ask for, Coach Steve. And don't worry, boys, tonight the belt should be going around your waist, and that's staying right where it belongs.
Well, apparently Steve now puts the Fools in Fool's Gold.
Oh God, he has a whistle. I thought we escaped that.
He's the assistant coach. Why wouldn't he? I don't know why. I guess he had some money and he visited Dick's Sporting Goods. I don't know what the whole story
From
behind
Paris,
this,
France.
but the
He is
World
the
Wrestling Tag Team Champions on their way.
Jean-Paul Les Miserables. And tonight is tag team partner, Mr. Gilmore.
So the original duo that
They
won
are
the War
the
Wrestling
War
Tag Team
Wrestling
Champions
Tag
back together
Team
for the first time
Champions.
since December.
Indeed.
Gimmicks,
Very
Inc.
apropos for a match like this.
And their partner from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, Ryan Michaels.
So Ryan Michaels and Gimmicks
Collectively,
Inc.
they are top gimmicks.
with a lot of things on the mind right now. The way that his last 6 months has been in War Wrestling. We talked about his dealings with both Jacob Rose and with Orlando Christopher, but finding some common ground now with Gimmicks Inc.
I hate to interrupt, McCormick, but where's Michaels?
Somewhere in Winnipeg?
He was announced. Rick announced him, but he's nowhere to be found.
Maybe he's wherever Coach Steve was.
Did
I think he just wanted to get his own intro. So Ryan Michaels, Mr. Gilmore, and John Paul. If you heard Rick say the rules of this match, if either member of Gimmicks Inc. is pinned by a member of the other team, they lose the tag team titles. If Brandon Fields on the other side is pinned by any one of the other three gentlemen, he loses the World Respect Championship to whomever pinned him. A lot at stake, and we haven't had one of these matches in quite a while. Back in 2012, it was Caden Assad and Bad Company. Sherman Tank and Chris Hall, the Hall of Famers, who were victorious. And they all held on to their championships when they beat Apollo, Starr, Cody Hawk, and Dusty Dillinger. But there is a long time and a lot of bad feelings between then and now between this group.
you saw in Ryan Michaels' face as he was making his way around the ring, he stared daggers into the eyes of the first stringers. Something tells me maybe that had part to do with why he had a delayed entrance.
There's a lot of fight in that young man. It'll be interesting to see when he gets into the match. It would appear that it'll be Jean Paul who will start it out and see who's on the other side, because the well, maybe even Michaels actually. To say if it was Jean Paul of the history he has with Brandon Fields and you're not a mime, you're somebody else, that whole deal, and Brandon Fields is saying, just give us all the titles.
There you see Connor Knox and River Maverick holding up what they think they're going to be walking away with at the end of the night.
The problem is, much like the War Heavyweight Championship doesn't belong to Beastman anymore, those don't belong to those young men.
That they do not, but time will tell what this main event may hold.
Look at Joe with all the gold.
You gotta imagine that's at least probably 15 to 20 pounds of metal in his hands.
Joe's probably thinking about hitting a pawn shop. He got some of that flask offered to him from Jimmy earlier. You get a whiff of that. I got it up here. He might be thinking about selling those.
Well, thankfully it is in the safe possession of our timekeeper area.
Also, good luck, Joe, keeping this match in check.
Knowing how any match with these 6 competitors has gone, it always devolves into chaos at some point or another.
Ryan Michaels, again, could potentially walk out of here as the War Wrestling Respect champion.
Michaels he's egging in Brandon. He wants Brandon to go in there so he can get that title.
At first, I didn't think Brandon wanted anything to do with it. But Michael's so fired up against the professional. There we go.
That's the typical mind games that we're more used to from Brandon Fields.
You got to imagine that was probably pretty early in Coach Steve's playbook.
Well, I think I can just barely make out what Coach Steve's playbook says right now.
What's it say about back body drops?
That's not included.
Avoid at all costs.
All it says is game plan A, win.
I mean, that's a pretty good start. Seems lazy for a coach, but it's a pretty good start as the frequent tags here in this de facto trios match.
You see Mr. Kilmore.
Happy smiles.
Allowing Michaels to tag back in too.
Frequent tags. All right, up and down.
Now, say what you will about John Paul's personage.
Unorthodoxness?
Him and Ryan Michaels have teamed with each other on a number of occasions in various different promotions, so they have that familiarity. And then we aren't exactly sure who all is a part of Gimmicks Inc. We don't know how frequently they're together.
There's at least 9 members that we've seen so far.
There's probably more. But if they're tag team champions and they've retained them so far with John Paul being the consistent person here, then surely they're all pretty familiar with one another.
Oh, John Paul now in control. Well, he was momentarily. I'm not sure that he saw that tag. Just playing bongos on the backside. And the double-footed dropkick.
He must be celebrating that the new Donkey Kong was announced.
I bet you Gimmicks Inc. is one hell of a party. Party Mike putting it down?
My question is Ryan Michaels now a part of Gimmicks Inc.? Can he defend the tag titles?
Is he the leader? Gimmicks Inc. rule? I don't know how that works.
Connor Knox feeling a little stiff after that one.
Sit out spinebuster. Just that quickly, and your favorite neighbor is now taking it too. Oh no, gloves off.
Oh no. Oh, Brandon right with the knee to the back.
Right to the spine, and Mr. Kilmore paying for it. Knox with that amateur background. He's 21 years old. I got a feeling this kid gets away from some folks and gets aligned with the right guys. He's going to be a star.
River Maggard dropping the leg there on Kilmore. Only a 1 count. Now, there's one thing I know about Mr. Kilmore. It's that his brother, who you may or may not be familiar with in Paragon, has definitely taught him about the ways of how to avoid leg drops. I'm sure that he'll have stern words for him later.
That'll be the first thing when they run it back. He'll pause this 3 times. Brandon Fields into the match. Ryan Michaels into the corner. Would love to get back into this match. Brandon Fields, who knocked off Apollo Starr at Chapter 22, Day 1 in January to win that championship. It's been a menace, not just to society, but to the smile of Mr. Kilmore.
It's a perpetual smile.
And it won't be after that elbow.
Getting picked up there, tagged back into Knox.
All the way up to the top, the self-professed genius, which, by the way, he spells with a J.
And he spells knowledge with just N-O-L-E-D-G-E.
Said he's not the brightest bulb, but he is effective.
Results are results, at the very least.
Got his training from Skull and Bones, and you get training from those guys, you are going to be a menace. And that's why I'm telling you, this kid's going to be a star. If he were able to somehow pin Mr. Kilmore and stop talking to the fans, he would be a tag team champion by now.
Oh, but
misdirection and a pounce!
Look at that beauty of a pounce as John Paul tagged back in.
John Paul with the mime 1-9.
Connor dazed off that one. Kilmore back in.
There you have the, I don't want to say in name, tag team champions. And the rocket launcher, throw a mime at him. 1, 2. Not enough.
I don't think that's a rocket ship that NASA's looked into building yet.
No, I don't know. They're trying to maybe move their outfit to Cleveland, so got to do something. All the way up to the top. Oh, caught him. And
you saw John Paul was happy to hang on for the ride there for a moment. He hung on a little too long.
He destroyed the box that he was in. Just left it laying.
Oh, Connor now using River as a projectile.
His own teammate for the win in the titles. Just a 2 count.
John Paul hangs on. Coach Steve arguing with the referee, saying that was 3.
As Steve would say many times about a lot of people, I don't think he can count to 3.
I mean, Steve's refereed for us here at War before. If we bring that into question,
no, I'm saying Steve would say that Joe can't count to 3.
Okay.
He was trying to explain to him, Joe, that was 3.
Okay, I get you now. I get you. For the sake of not questioning our authority of our referees, Joe can confirm count to 3.
He's done it for 5,000 matches. Feels like that's probably an undershoot.
500 years.
You see, well, he did referee the Last Supper. He's told me that multiple times. Fields, though, said, I don't care about your referee. I care about destroying a master mime.
Brandon Fields, I am sure, is very happy to get a chance to inflict more punishment onto John Paul.
I thought that was going to be a blind tag by his own teammate, to be honest with you. Or just a 2 count.
They're the first stringers, but these two are like your linebackers, and they're seeing Brandon as their quarterback. They're going to follow his lead as the more experienced guy.
Destroy the mime. That must be the mission there. Oh, that will whistle again. He's blowing it right in his face.
Hey, damaged eardrums, I'm sure. That'll inflict some pain.
River Maverick, you think about, he hasn't even been here really that long. He debuted in October, beat Fenrir Ragnarok. He's kind of had a rough go for a little bit, but then he got in with this group, and again, as we've talked about all night, question the way they do things, but they get it done.
Yeah, he teamed up with Connor Knox, and ever since then, these two have been off to the races. Brandon Fields driving the back of John Paul into that top turnbuckle.
Ryan Michaels just barely missed that tag. Fields makes one on his own. Trapped in the corner. John Paul has been on the receiving end of offense from this group for about 5 straight minutes now.
River Maverick following up.
Oh!
Have you ever seen a man do a 180-degree spin midair?
Being clotheslined while he's a projectile. No.
Now
you have.
That just goes to tell you the power of River Maverick there.
And Michaels really also shows you Connor Knox's power. The way that he lawn darted him, and Joe's, hey, what are you guys doing? I don't think you can do that anymore. You would think John Paul and Joe would be friends. They have a lot in common.
They both wear black and white stripes.
Nobody listens to either one of them.
True. John
Master
Paul
Mime fighting his way out of the corner, and John Paul Fields has no idea
The first stringers are down. Roll
the
through.
pump kick, and there
Tap
it
to
is.
Michaels.
Here comes Michaels with a clothesline.
This is exactly what Gimmicks was needing.
Here's a guy who's a house of fire right now. First stringers, they tried to come help out, but Michaels just too angry. Ooh, get him in the back of the head.
Michaels is like a house of fire. It takes a lot to stop him, but somehow Connor Knox has found the way to do it.
Found the extinguisher. Unfortunately for him, he did not look for Kilmore behind him. And your favorite neighbor taking down on both the first stringers in the airplane spin.
Knox is out, and now it's time for Maverick.
Oh, he's able to fight back. He's trying to take the mask off.
Oh, instead, transitions down to dropping Todd.
See a swing and John Paul back in control. Duck the clothesline, full out of steam. Into the cutter.
Beautiful, beautiful cutter there by John Paul.
Oh, Jesus. Field goal is good from 65 yards. The professional, though, doesn't know who's behind him. And remember, that's the legal man. Michael said, let's go. Let's do this.
And Fields is ready for it, and the slugfest begins.
Like a Saturday night in downtown Lima. Just throwing the haymakers.
Brandon Fields off the ropes.
Spine buster. Just pin him in that huge jam, but thinking about the sharpshooter.
Michaels' signature offense. Knocks off Maverick. Knocks off Knox. Caught by Coach Steve.
Down goes Knox. Oh, Steve just said that's about enough. You can help yourself. Fields says that's enough. Ripcord and the swing and the miss. Back.
There we see, setting up the sharpshooter.
Calling the dungeon. Now on the turnover, Fields has got no help, and he's dead center of the ring.
Yet center of the ring, John Paul and Kilmore are taking on the first stringers.
Steve and his whistle. Joe, kick him out of here.
Michaels now, he's had enough.
Lopez is in a bad position, but Fields, oh, he knocked down Coach Steve.
Steve is down, Steve is down. Roll up, 1, 2, 3. Brian Michaels is your new War Respect champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner and the new War Respect champion, Ryan Michaels.
River Maverick is trying to complain to Slick Rick that it was a 2 count. Wrong guy, wrong place, wrong time. And the new War Respect champion with a roll-up. Not only that, a successful title defense for Gimmicks Inc.
Ryan Michaels making history here tonight. His first time winning the War Respect Championship. And of course, still your tag team champions as well. Gimmicks Inc., John Paul Le Miserable, and your favorite neighbor, Mr. Kilmore.
One hell of a main event here at Nobody's Fool. Fool's Gold, the champions reigning supreme. End of days coming up on May the 3rd. That is what we have on WarWrestling.com, Facebook as well. For Bryce and Michael McCormick, have a great night and an even better tomorrow for all of us here at War Wrestling.
We will see you then.
Now, real respect can come back to War Wrestling. Thank you.